Good morning, Tony Datino here, doing my Live with Tony on Wednesday. We are moving along here. The days of the week are just going by as quickly as you keep track of, and there are times I have to step back and focus and remember what's the date and what day of the week is it, and let me make sure on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays I do my Live with Tony. But I've been up in New York for the last couple of weeks, and I've been cleaning out the basement where I've had storage of things from way back into 1990s and files and magazines and research that I was doing going back to the early 2000 years. So it's been an interesting experience for me thinking about it is now the year 2023, and I am finding things way back in the year 2000, which reminds me of the very first time I got intrigued by what we were learning about the human brain. Was years earlier when Tony Buzan was predicting that by the year 2000, more than half of what we knew or thought we knew about the human brain would be proven to be wrong. And that's when I got intrigued and interested and started subscribing to different magazines and science reports to try to learn what were these things that science was beginning to unravel the mysteries of the human brain. And it was just intriguing to me to be able to read what they were able to do and what they were then suggesting. And I said, gee, shouldn't people know this? Isn't it important for people's mental fitness for them to know, as we were beginning to have more worries about dementia and cognitive impairments and Alzheimer's in the early 2000s? Wasn't that starting to become a hot topic? And it is still a hot topic in the year 2023 as we have scientists trying to find the easy pill. Well, as I was going through my magazines and piles of papers and deciding, what do I keep and what do I not keep, I just found a couple of magazines that I thought I would highlight in my Live with Tony over the next few weeks. And one of them was all about keeping your brain fit. And this is intriguing because it talks about keeping your brain fit, the latest science on boosting your memory and protecting against Alzheimer's, plus mental fitness routines. Now, here's what was interesting about this. Remember what I just shared with you? I was going back to the year 2000. This was a U.S. News and World Report, headline, Keeping Your Brain Fit, February 11, 2008. And this do some quick subtraction. That's 15 years ago. And here we were 15 years ago beginning to say, my goodness, keep your brain fit. And what are some of the things that science is beginning to reveal that can be beneficial? And the article starts with this picture of the brain, keeping your brain fit. First I always have people think about, so what do you think your brain even looks like? And here it suggests there's plenty you can do to slow down the effects of aging. And here's how to keep your thinking and memories sharp. In the year 2008, and I always say, well, gee, what if you missed that magazine in 2008? What if you've missed a whole series of magazines and newspaper articles over the last 15 years? And what it might be able to have done to share with you. So here are some things that you can take control over. There's plenty you can do to slow down the effects of aging. And what if you just missed those because you haven't been to the newsstand or you haven't been reading any of the science reports on it? And so in 1997, we set up the USA Memory Championship to start to get people, at least through the media in some fashion, to see a competition where people have learned to improve their memory regardless of their age. You can go to USA Memory Championship website and you can get yourself a link for this Saturday's qualifying event. But here's what they were saying back in the year 2008, February of 2008, 15 years ago, right? People with 5 social ties were less likely to suffer cognitive decline than those that had no ties. Now, what does that mean, right? People with 5 social ties were less likely to suffer cognitive decline than those that had no ties. What have we been learning? And it's coming out now almost on a regular basis about social interactions, making connections with people, finding out that people that feel isolated or people that use the word I feel lonely, I feel sad, people are hardwired to be socially connected. And here in 2008, what they were saying is, my goodness, what are your social connections? Who are some of the people that you can at least have social ties with? And it doesn't mean that you have to be like the life of the party. It means, do you have 3 to 5 people that you can talk with, that when you're in those moments of, my gosh, I wish I had somebody to talk to? And it's sad sometimes as we get older, the people we care and love about, sometimes they pass and sometimes they're not with us anymore. But how do we substitute that and go out and make new friends and go out and find new social contacts and find new connections of people that we feel we can go take a walk with, we can go sit down and have a cup of coffee with, and just share our conversations. I think it's an imperative that people learn, if they haven't already, or feel that, my God, well, I'm not a social butterfly, I'm a recluse, all right, that they understand the impacts that that has. And here we were talking about that in the year 2008. What else were they talking about here? Following a regimentation of a healthy diet. What are diets, right? And there's been so much written about nutrition and diets and connected to our cardio, right? Connected to our LDLs and HDLs and fat content and how much research that we've been reading about that we think of it related to our cardio, right? Who wants to have a heart attack? And so there's been so much written about healthy diets. Well, we've begun to realize in the last 15 years that our nutritional habits not only are impacting our hearts, but the nutritional habits, the fats, the proteins, the carbs that we put into our bodies are also impacting what's up here. And so 15 years ago, they were saying, well, what are your diets and how are you balancing? And let's not take fats out of your diet, because good fats are helpful to the insulation of the firings of the electricity in your brain. And therefore, let's not take all fats out of your diet. Let's not eliminate all proteins or all carbs. There's a good balance. And so we've been up and down on this. Books are written on, no, let's not do this and let's not that. But no, the research states is you need to have a balance, because you need all of it in its proper mix that has an impact on our memories and our mental functions and things of that sort. How about mental challenges? What are we doing to mentally challenge our brain? What games or what mental activities are we engaged in? And I talk about people reading and studying, just learning new things. Take up a new subject. Go take a high school course. Many colleges offer for seniors or people. You can come in and just audit the class and just sit there and listen. Or there's so much stuff online in this day and age. But what are you doing to mentally challenge? I tell people, I don't know that I can find anything better, as we're learning more and more about the mental challenges of a memory competition. What skills are you learning to remember the people's names and faces that you meet, which then ties into your ability to then socially interactive. Imagine what people would feel like if you could remember their name each time you saw them, and you say, oh, I remember you from the last time, and a couple of things about them. How that builds a connection, just like quick, like that. So in our brain fitness workshop that we're doing now, we have people come in that we call them a mystery guest, and the attendees have to ask them some questions and learn about them. But we're teaching them our mental skills, physical skills that they can utilize when they meet somebody and just generate a nice, fun, lovely conversation. What about exercise? Oh my goodness gracious. This article talked about the importance of exercise and the cardio impacts of what a proper exercise program does in making connections to the blood flow that goes to your brain. Now, who stops and thinks about blood flow in the brain? Well, the blood flow, 20% of your blood is going up into your brain, and that's the energy that it utilizes for memory. It's the energy it uses for creativity. It's the energy it uses to stay alive. And so how much now is being written about the importance of movement and physical activity and generating a blood flow that obviously is necessary for good thinking and good memories in the human mind. And at what age do we become complacent and we stop exercising? Well, one good thing is you certainly in the last 15 years have seen an explosion of fitness centers and the difference of people who are now going in and doing a very variety of exercises. Now, my only challenge with that is there are people that go to the weight machines and there are people that go to the exercise aerobic machines. And what the science is telling us 15 years later is you really need to have both. You really need to have a combination of some minor lifting, keep the muscles alive. Your muscles are breaking down, so you need to do something to offset it, as well as your lungs and your ability to be aerobically fit are breaking down as you get older. So you need to be doing some kind of a walking routine or a minor a bit of trotting or exercising. And then last, the flexibility, just doing some stretches, just doing some movement because of the different breakdowns of ligaments and tendons and things in the body. And so it's now a combination of the three of what we've learned in the last 15 years. And I say, shouldn't people know this? And doesn't it and won't it make a difference first in their social life, certainly in their physical fitness in terms of their nutritional habits, and certainly in their mental fitness as we think about the different things we can do. And so this is, again, the USA Memory Championship. We got coming up with our qualifying events on July 29th. Check in on the website this Saturday. You'll get a chance at 12 o'clock to see people begin to compete for our qualifying events that we'll be doing live for the finals in Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida on September 23rd. So we're into our 24th year, but the messaging hasn't changed. We want to make people know there are things you can do to improve your memory, and I don't think there are better challenges than what we put these mental athletes through and what they have to do to compete to see who's got the best memory in the United States. I just found this article dated 2008, and I found articles in 2.5 and 2.6 and 2.4, and saying, my goodness, have you missed the article? If you have, you may need to go find a few, and you may need to stay with, are you interested in making a difference in your own health? And last week I did a broadcast, Brain Matters, that comes out of the Smithsonian Institute, and they presented brain power starting now. Many of the things that we were talking about 15 years ago. And what if you missed that article, magazine issue in 2008, and 15 years later its impact? My point, it's never too late to start. Never too late to start. Same tips in here. We could have started 15 years ago, but if we haven't, it's okay. Start them today. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you back here on Friday.